This is what architecture is about. Like you are a person before that you are architect, and the way that you perceive life should like drive you to be part of the society.
This is the Prime Pod. I'm your host, Robert McLean. The tornado that ripped through southern Moravia a year ago destroyed not just dozens of homes and businesses, but public buildings and spaces. How does a town come back from something like that? With a lot of help, for one thing. Much of it began arriving electronically from Czechs around the country in hurriedly arranged bank accounts. Companies also sent dozens of trucks filled with building materials to help families whose houses survived, but whose roofs had blown away. The Portuguese architect Marco Maio tried to help those whose homes didn't survive. He put free designs for new homes online for victims of the storm to speed up the process of rebuilding. But as a professor of architecture at the construction faculty in Prague, Maio wanted his students to help as well. He eventually identified the main square of the village Moravska Nova Ves. By some miracle, the only building that remained standing on the square was the church. Should the rest simply be built back the same as it was before? Or should these towns take advantage of what Maio knew was a unique, if unexpected, opportunity to rebuild themselves using modern approaches to urban design? His goal, in any case, was to show the towns that they had a choice. And so, after discussions with local officials, Maio told his students to prepare studies of how the space could be rebuilt. The best 5 solutions were placed on display at a public meeting held on Saturday, June 25th, a year and a day after the tornado. I took a train down to the Slovak border to witness that public meeting, and I spoke with Maio afterwards.
The tornado whipped through here in about 60 seconds, right? Maybe 90 seconds. What's been achieved here over the last 366 days?
The first part, of course, is like all to protect the private your privacy, basically, because you lost your house, your roof.
So people secured their homes.
Security, yes, this was like priority, that people somehow they can reestablish their own lives as regular as possible. However, because like the tornado destroyed so much, let's say the villages, we are not talking about the houses. We are talking about like the public space. Somehow the tornado creates like a clean ground for future development. In the sense that somehow at the moment all can be possible. And there are like a lot of factors and a lot of positive things that can happen. And basically you need just to work to put the seeds in the correct place, that this can generate interest from the different parties, like and the public, private, that they have a kind of vision how to work in the same direction. So if you planted the tree in the wrong place, in 20 years you will see that is the wrong place. Yeah, but if you plan like the main square differently, you will plant the trees already in the correct place for the next 20 years. And this is what we want to do.
I think it's useful to look at last year's tornado in South Moravia as a miniature version of the enormous pandemic. One was an invisible, slow-moving catastrophe that took an enormous human toll. The other was fast-moving and violent, with terrifying physical destruction. Both were agents for change. The problem for Moravska Nova Ves is how to agree on what its public spaces should look like going forward. Public spaces, after all, are where community happens.
It's not just the village that was disrupted, but all the relationships within it. How has that come together?
This, I think, is the main point, because like I'm not here like as an architect. I'm here as a part of a group that is thinking about what is around, let's say, the villages. And there are like too many parameters that we can play. However, we architects, we help to create a vision. How things they could be different. But also, we are the ones that, creating that, we can, for example, propose like a new community center for these villages. Why? Because it will like organize the people and organize the different groups of the cultural groups, the music groups, the wine ones, like to have a point where they can meet. And these, if we can do that, we are working so many levels. How to generate like not a new life, but somehow a new relations, social relations between them for this life.
Right.
Because like they lost their ground, their comfort zone.
Yeah.
And you want all the time to come back to your comfort zone.
What is the role of the students in this?
So it's very easy. The school is the moment where you can practice because you don't need to follow exactly the rules.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the only moment that you can do that. When you finish the school, you start your professional life.
Right.
Nobody will pay to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Before the school, you don't have the knowledge to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Inside of the school, there is the frame of time that you can risk, propose, make dream without limits.
And and in this case, how do you combine that with something that's useful then for the city?
The city, they don't have that capacity to do such a works.
Right.
And even if they would like to have such a works, they cost money.
Right.
And the faculty, we are just pleased to do it. I'm not saying for free, because it costs our time, but in the sense that we have the time of the faculty to do exactly that. And we don't need to be creating any special programs inside of our semester in the faculty when we can connect the students with the reality. And this is the reality. And if you merge this, wow.
And the city is able to use this as a point of discussion. Is that right? So they can
Right.
at least visualize something and then say, well, we like that, we don't like that. Or I would imagine that it can help them when they finally come to debate exactly what it's going to look like, when they actually figure out what the order, the zadani is, this will be an instrument in that discussion.
Definitely, because like all these variants, they are good, but they are good in the sense that it's a particular way of thinking.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's an opinion.
It's independent
to be bounced
thinking.
off of.
Yeah. And we have international students. So even that, we are bringing other thinking, other cultures to think about Czech.
Right.
And this is very interesting because it brings you something that you didn't expect.
It's out of the box and out
It's
of
out of the
Czech.
box and out of Czech. So and they come with proposals and you say, okay, we can consider that. Why not? It's great. And from this moment is not saying like this looks great, but also this looks what we don't want. Yeah,
Which is important.
what is very important because they don't know what they want or what they don't want. But I'm really happy if they come to the posters and they said, Marco, definitely this is something that I don't want. So we are not like looking for that everybody loves the results, but we want to provocate the discussion about the results.
In a sense, isn't this what you would have dreamt that architecture is about? This type of a moment?
This is what architecture is about. Like you are a person before that you are architect, and the way that you perceive life should like drive you to be part of the society. And what I'm doing or what we are doing is like to use our tools of knowledge to the society. And there is no client specifically. There is no private client with the golden pot that is paying such a work. It's just like our wish and will to make things happen.
I think for you, maybe also for your students, it's been a real teaching moment, actually.
This is the knowledge that you get in the faculty because you connect something that is very virtual with something that is really real, that is a tornado. Yeah. So this is something that, where is the middle term of something that it's maybe impossible to do with something that has to be possible to do. And this discussion and this provocation brings such a level of discussion and knowledge between them. I do believe they will never forget what we did during this semester because it was just provocative for them. Students left their comfort zone as well to be actively working all the time. And this was incredible so far. Yes.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.